to all the dispossessed youth of Africa, for perpetuation of communion with ancestral spirits through the fight for African freedom, and in the firm faith that the dead, the living, and the unborn will unite to build the destroyed shrines. Selah. Hello and welcome, beloveds, to Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that you're moving into living life truly on your own terms. We are live and direct, from Lamu, beloveds. I'm on my friend Muhaji's boat. By the way, if you're ever in Lamu, look up Muhaji on Shella Island. Yeah. And, we've come for a meditation in the mangroves. And I just wanted to share something with you because, this thing of truth, I think we've been lied to so much, beloveds. And someone reminded me of something, that Babylon loves to make stuff up, but then they love to hold things as the absolute truth. So they love to so they'll make up an entire story. And then they'll tell you that if you don't believe in that story, you could die, you'll end up in hell, etc., etc. And it always reminds me of Hitler's book, Hitler's Mein Kampf. He talked about how he was able to take over Germany, and it wasn't a physical thing. It was a spiritual and mental thing. He created an ideology, beloveds. He created a great lie. And he even talked about how, if you tell a big enough lie and you repeat it over and over and over and over again, people will believe it. Because people tell small lies in their own life. They'll lie about maybe, I'm 10 minutes away when they're an hour away. Things like that. Small lies, So, but they would never, because of the way the religious construct is set up, they would never imagine telling a big lie. And that's why the Babylon system has gotten away with telling some very big lies, because Babylon loves to make stuff up, beloveds. And that's why you have to really question, why is the narrative, why is the story so important to Babylon? Why? Why do they want to tell us who we were, that we were like this before they came? Why have they controlled the spaces of history, the spaces of telling stories, the spaces of entertainment? Why do they control everything to do with the mental? Why did they invent the government to run the mental? It's because the world is mental first, beloveds. You see, Babylon gave you guys a fantasy, and they took our sciences. And that's what they've been operating on all this time. Because we're in a mental world. Your thoughts create your experience. Your thoughts create your world. And then there is something called the group thought, which is like the group consciousness. And so collectively, the majority of people are thinking is what we end up seeing in this world, which is why Babylon has concentrated so much on creating one universal story where they are king. And we always say there's a saying in Africa which talks about as long as the lion doesn't get to tell his story, the hunter will always make himself the victorious one, the righteous one, etc., etc. So, beloveds, you have to start to disconnect, because you've been tied in so much to the story. And the way they did it is they used your emotions, and they used your lowest emotions of fear, of anxiety. Then they even removed your identity. So now even your self-confidence and your self-image is an issue. But the people who defend the stories of Babylon the most are our own people. And I see from the reaction of some people when I said Jesus never existed, beloveds. It's just like, that is a story. That is a narrative. And if you don't respect the narrative, then you'll always be a slave. Because Babylon loves to make stuff up. And they've been making stuff up to create this entire world. We don't even know if the Babylonians came here 400 years ago or if they've been here for 2,000 years. Because they made that stuff up. And they are holding our stories hostage, in the chambers of the Vatican, in all the libraries and museums across Europe. Our governments are still fighting. 90% of our artifacts are in European museums because the story is the most important thing. So you erase people's story and then you make stuff up. So if you recognize that Babylon has created this whole thing based on their story, then you'll start to recognize the importance of letting go of this story and starting to create your own narrative, starting to discover the stories of your people, what they meant, because our ancestors spoke in code. And I've told you guys about the code of silence. And right now, we're living in the great lie, greater than Hitler ever told, beloveds. And it's all because Babylon has made themselves the storyteller. And now they're trying to move everyone into this, digital reality, beloveds. Anyway, let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, Africa.
Welcome back, beloveds, to Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi Seraki. Special shout out to our Patreon family. We appreciate, love you so much for all your support. And really, beloveds, I just want to come on here to encourage you to stop being so attached to the enemy of your soul's story. Because so many people are living in a make-believe narrative. You're living in Babylon's narrative. Babylon has told you who your ancestors were. They've tried to tell you who you were. They've put you at the bottom and put themselves at the top. And then they've whitewashed all history and taken their position as the rulers. And it's because they understand the value of the narrative. And I feel it's something that we don't fully respect. So how do you start to see that Babylon makes stuff up? You just need to do a bit of research. We're in the information age, beloveds. And for a season and a time, because I've told you, with things like Wikipedia right now, history is also being rewritten. So you need to really be able to do the necessary research, because right now there's so much information online. There's documentaries, there's research books, which will show you that most of the things are a lie, which will show you that most of the things are a narrative. And the greatest lie, beloveds, that Babylon has ever told you is about yourself. They've made so much stuff up about who we are as a people, and it has really, really affected us. Because if you don't see yourself right, then you can't even operate as who you really are. You are what you think, beloveds. And that's why if you look, the greatest narrative has been against us as a people. Why is there so much focus on the black man is like this, the black man is like that, the black woman is a whore, she's like this, she's a prostitute, why is there so much? Because if you mess with how I feel about myself, then you already have me. And that's why I keep saying, beloveds, we are in a mental war. And it's like a mental marathon, and only the fittest of the fittest of the fittest of the fittest shall survive. And a lot of you want to do so much outside of yourselves when you haven't fixed what's inside here and in here. Because what you're fighting for, beloveds, is your mind. And I'm going to do a separate show on how Babylon has your mind hostage. So you need to. The most important activity right now is getting to know who you really are. Because Babylon has lied to you about that. They've made stuff up about your character. They've made stuff up about our ancestors. They've even made stuff up about God. And until you know who you are, then you have no business going to deal with Babylon. Because that shows, if you do not know who you are and you're not standing firm in that, then Babylon still has you. Babylon has invested a lot of money, a lot of technology, and a lot of time to get you in this mental slavery, in this mental colonialism, beloveds. But it's all made up stuff. And the more you disconnect from Babylon, from the Babylon system, beloveds, the more you will start to see and hear yourself clearly. Because until you change who you think you are, then nothing else is going to change and Babylon will get you. And that's why if you look at what's happening in the world right now, there's epic distractions. There's so many distractions, there's so many issues. So many people are being triggered in their family dynamics. And it's just everything is coming to the forefront, beloveds. But to be truly free in this season, you first have to know who you are, and then it will happen in miraculous and spiritual ways and supernatural ways, as they like to put it. The truth shall set you free. They even tell you that. The truth shall make you free. Because right now, the prison is the lie. Tuko pamoja.